It is Friday the 20th of March 2020. It's the last day of the winter. But we're in a strange world now. The coronavirus is just spreading around the planet. And scenes from the hospitals in Italy, in northern Italy, are awful. But there's still talk about lockdowns, and particularly in London, where in Britain the virus has had its largest number of casualties. For us, we are less affected than most people. We already had a food stockpile. We've got 4 freezers full of food that we've produced in the last couple of years. And in fact, our concern was we actually needed to get the food used up so that we could create freezer space for the coming year's crops. And so for us, we haven't done any stock panic buying, but we have had to buy extra feed for the animals. And our biggest concern is the chicken, the supply of chicken and poultry feed. And this morning we went up to the poultry feed suppliers. We wanted to buy 3 sacks of wheat and 3 of pellets, and we cleared them out of their last 2 of each. And for us, as I said in a previous day's diary, we don't really have at this point very much of an alternative to the commercially purchased chicken food. Goats, if we can get them through to over the next couple of weeks, are fine, because we can get them here onto the field, which I'm on now, just arrived here, and there'll be plenty of grass for them to eat, and there'll be lots of foraging that we can gather in for them as well. Not so with the chickens and ducks. That's much more difficult and much more challenging. Our big concern is not so much that the system runs out of food as the system imposes a lockdown on us, which requires us to stay at home. So that's going to be interesting when it comes to dealing with our livestock. How do we look after them if we're not allowed to leave the house? Now, I'm assuming that for essential purposes like that, we will be able to leave our homes. But this entire situation is so unpredictable that you can't be secure in making any predictions. So what we did yesterday and this morning is go out and buy all our seed potatoes. And we've decided that with the mild winter, we might as well just get them all in anyway. So I've come up here to prepare the beds, dig them over, and once they're dug over, then we'll get them rotivated, and sometime shortly we'll get the seed potatoes planted. So I actually made a start yesterday on digging this end of the bed, and really it was just an experiment to see what the ground was like underneath. It is quite tough underneath that layer of soil and manure that we've put down, but it wasn't impossible to do through. So as you can see, we've done it there. Once we've broken it up, get the rotavator onto it, and the ground will be ready for planting. And at this end, this is what I still need to dig over. I've just remembered one thing that I was going to mention about panic buying, because one of the things that people have gone for in big style is loo rolls. And people are buying sort of quantities of loo roll that are going to last them years and years and years. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And the big problem is not people responding to the pandemic, it's how they think they need to respond to how they think others will respond to the pandemic. So hence the panic buying, and supermarkets being stripped bare of food and essentials, and particularly of toilet roll, and it's completely unnecessary. The system in this country can provide for all those things. They're all in the pipeline. There is no need to go panic buying. But for us, we wouldn't need to go panic buying loo rolls anyway, because we will shortly be setting up a compost toilet on our near side allotment, and the loo roll that we will use will be old newspapers. So we've actually found a good use for the press, after all. Well, I am pleased to say that I have now finished digging over this bed, so we'll get the rotavator onto it soon. And up at the top of the field we've got a couple of other beds that need the same work doing, but that's for another day. One of the other things that concerns me about this coronavirus crisis, national emergency, is the power supply. Now I think there'll be plenty of power to go around and fuel. It's just that there may be some difficulties in getting it to people. And for us, we generate most of our own electricity, but we feed into the grid. So if the grid goes down, our solar panels don't generate any electricity, and we can't even take a charge from our storage battery, because that is part of the grid as well. So when the grid's running fine and the battery is powered up, no problem. So one of the things we're thinking of doing is buying some small solar panels which can be fixed up to a rechargeable battery, which can provide an AC supply, alternating current supply, so we can then just plug into it for key equipment. Obviously we'll have issues about diesel on the Land Rover, but we use the Land Rover very, very sparingly. I announced at the start of the year that I'd set a target of below 250 miles a month on the Land Rover, and at the minute we're doing about less than half of that. So diesel supply, problem, but not insurmountable, because we've got stocks to last. And we can keep the house warm, that's no problem, because we can use the wood-fired stove that we have, which heats the whole of the house, and the logs for that we have collected ourselves. We're almost through our winter supply, and as we get closer to April, the need for heating the house becomes less and less, but we'll still need some wood supply, and we've got that. That is no problem. But the key issue for us is going to be the electricity supply, and if that goes down because of inadequate number of key personnel to keep the system running, then that will cause us a problem, but we are looking for ways around it.